All right, so this is a huge moment for the Joshua Perry Show. We've got our first guest on our
Oh,
first episode. We got a big time guy at that. We got my
oh,
boy,
come on
man,
now.
he's been friends with me for about 10 years now.
Oh, it's been
The Tyvis Powell,
that long.
defensive
Thank you,
MVP of the
Joshua.
national championship
Hey,
game.
man.
The man of the hour. What's up?
Oh, nothing much, man. I appreciate you for having me on the show, man. I had to come show my boy some love, my brother from another.
Man, I had to have you on here. I knew it was going to make for great media. This guy right here is the star. Come on now.
Maybe one day, Joshua, you have to return the favor and get on my show when I have one, if
I'll,
I ever decide to have one.
you know what? Tyvis Powell's going to have a show. It's just a matter of time.
Well, I won't hold my breath on it. Hopefully this NFL thing, works out for me. But maybe when I'm done, maybe sports talk is what I need to do.
Well, I know if anything, Tyvis knows about sports and Tyvis knows how to talk. So,
well, you know what I learned from
right there.
I've learned from the best. This guy right here.
Don't do that. All right, so let's jump right into it because I got a bunch of questions to ask you. And so the first one, I've said it. What'd you say?
Shoot from the hip. I got time.
It's not shooting from the hip. It's scripted, Tyvis. It's great content. No shooting from the hip here.
Go ahead.
All right. So obviously, I've known you for a long time. We've developed a great relationship. I would call you a brother of mine. I've got two biological brothers, and then I've got Tyvis and a whole bunch of other brothers. But
you do say I look like Wes, but I don't see it.
I think you favor my older brother just a little bit.
Anyway, I don't think so, but go ahead.
So for folks who don't know you like I know you, what do they need to know about Tyvis Powell?
What do they need to know about Tyvis Powell? Well, Tyvis Powell is although I am silly and I'm a very goofy person, I'm a very dedicated person, very self-motivated. My biggest thing is that I feel like I have a ton of greatness inside of me. And I really want the world to see how great I am at sports, even though, it hasn't been in the NFL, I haven't really got a chance to show it. I feel like I owe it to the people who believe in me that I should get out there and show what I am capable of doing, so that the people that do believe in me will be like, you know what, I knew it all along. I always told my friends that he was good. So, I'm a very passionate person. And I am very, very family oriented. I think people, if you actually go on my social media, you probably see that a lot. Like I'm always showing my newborn now, and I'm always showing that I'm hanging out with my fiance, and anytime I'm with my family, it's always a good vibe. So those are some things that, I don't talk about a lot, but it's there.
So we're going to talk about that family thing as we move forward, because this is a show that's not just about sports. We talk about life and everything else. But on the sports tip, you talked about that greatness that is inside of you. And that's one of the things that I can remember as we were going through at Ohio State together. Both came in at the same time, early enrollees, 2012 class.
Oh, yeah.
I got on the field as a freshman playing mostly special teams. You were redshirted.
Sure did.
It was a developmental thing because it was that greatness that was inside. And then we got to the 2013 season, and that's where you made the splash. And it was from the beginning of the year making plays all the way up to the Team Up North game where you had two-point conversion. So for you in that process, how did you get from freshman, redshirted, to all of a sudden you're a household name among Buckeye fans?
Well, the truth of this is that, in high school, I was a very motivated person. I did a lot of the extra things. I didn't take any shortcuts. I would always overdo things. And once I got to Ohio State my freshman year, I don't know. I wouldn't say that I wasn't talented enough. I think it was more of a mental and a physical strength aspect for me that kind of held me back. And, I was kind of in the feeling, people get to college and, for me, it was kind of like, woo, it's a sign of relief. Woo, I made it to where I wanted to be, and I kind of just rode the wave, and I kind of lost my hunger, I would say. So I ended up having a conversation with my high school head coach, and, we had a very heart-to-heart conversation about how basically to sum it all up is that we worked so hard to get here, and now you get here, and now you're not doing the things that you did that got you to where you needed to be. And, it kind of hit me right then and there. This was at the end of the freshman year, so I was redshirted. And that next spring, O was gone. Orion Johnson was graduating, and we needed a nickel at the time. And I knew I would be that. I fit that
We
body
needed a long
size.
nickel.
Yeah, that size. So I knew that's where I was going to be. And, O was like a big brother to me when I was a freshman year. He was always the one that kind of kept me sane when I was about to ready to jump off the deep end. And so I knew that I would fit that role. And basically from that spring, I went back to my old ways. I went back to doing extra stuff. I got with Coach Parker and Coach Court after like practices where I would go in the weight room, do some extra lifting and stuff like that. And, they kind of helped me get to where I physically get to where I was at. I put in more time with learning the playbook and, learning the defense with Coach Withers. And it kind of helped me get to where I needed to be. And then as time went on, I went back to my old dedicated ways, and I seen that stuff starting to pay off. If I had a weakness or something, I would spend so much time trying to fix it that when it came game time, it was eventually patched up, and good things started to happen for me.
Yeah, but that physical shift definitely came with a mental shift too, and that's the same thing that happened kind of in all of us with that. But what was the biggest thing that probably clicked for you mentally in terms of overcoming adversity and staying the course?
The one thing that clicked for me the most is I had a conversation with Roby, believe it or not, Roby. Roby actually was the one who said something to me, and it kind of clicked for me. He was saying that you only coming down this road in life one time. Like you only going to go to college and play football for this university one time. So you might as well make the best of, put everything you have into it, because don't waste this opportunity. You've been blessed with an opportunity, make the most of it. And that kind of was like, okay, yeah, you're right. Like all I need to do is, have that right mindset. And I'm not about to, I didn't get here for nothing. God didn't put me here just to waste his time, So, do something spectacular so that your name will hopefully be remembered for the rest of your life.
Fantastic. And so, we get to that point where you start to do all those things right. It clicks for you. You're making big plays. We come together as a team now. End of 2013, we have some really big questions to answer throughout that offseason. Early on in the 2014 season, we had some even bigger questions to answer. But eventually, we climbed the mountain as national champions. So, in your estimation, what do you think the biggest things were for that team to come together the way that it did?
Well, I know the year before, at the end of the 2013 season, we finished the year with losing 2 games back to back, which is kind of like, it was unheard of at the time.
We went 24 straight.
I might say we just was on a 24-0 streak, and then we come back and follow that up with 2 losses back to back. So I remember that offseason, that's all they talked about the offseason was, y'all lost y'all. We're only as good as our last game. That's what Coach Mick, we're only as good, and we suck. So, we definitely had a chip on our shoulder, and we was opening up against the Navy, I believe, that year.
Yep.
And we did well against the Navy, and then that next week was the one that was like, the world gassed it up. It was a night game. It was our first home game, and everybody was packed. And we come out and we lost. They hit us with some. That was like, because at the time during the season, we hadn't experienced a loss, and not to mention, I think at that time I don't even think we lost at our own home. So we really hadn't experienced anything like that. And to finally face that adversity, I think it was good for us actually, because it knocked us off our high horse. We realized that still work to be done, but the thing about it was that nobody gave up. You come in the next week and you watch the TV and all the media says, it's over with. Y'all got a loss. Y'all might as well just throw the season away. And it was interesting to see how people would respond to it. Well, do you believe that, or do we just say, you know what, forget it? We're just gonna swing as hard as we can, and then we're just gonna let the chips fall where they may be at the end. And it was good to see everybody was on the same page. And from that moment on, I think everybody put in their mind, we will never lose a game again. No matter what we have to do, we will find a way to win. And that obviously what we show week in and week out. At the time, we wasn't everything wasn't perfect going into the rest of those games. I remember we struggled with Penn State. We went in overtime with Penn State. I remember going to Minnesota in that
Yeah.
cold game, and that was a close one. We
Yeah.
struggled with Indiana that year. So it wasn't perfect, but it was just we always found the will to win, and I think that's what. And I think without that Virginia Tech loss, I don't know if we ever would have been like that. So I think that was a great thing to experience. We know how to overcome adversity even when things is not going good, and moving on to the end. I mean, it was kind of like a movie. You know, we go in and. At the time, we still didn't know if we would get into college playoffs, and we went in there and we just swung absolutely as hard as we could. I think that might have been the hardest we ever attempted to swing, and I don't think nobody ever had the expectation to win 59-0, but it definitely felt good. And it definitely was worth. It definitely worked out for us. So yeah, it was a good year, man. That was a really. I pray to God they do a 30 for 30 or not. They need to interview me first.
So they do need to do the 30 for 30, but I think the story needs to be 2014, just a regular season. Then part 2 is the postseason run. Then part 3 is the off season leading into the 2015 season, and then part 4 is the 2015 season that we should have been reaching champions.
What you think we is, The Last Dance?
We need a 4-part series out this mug. Here, let me point out a couple of things though about the 2014 season, because you were absolutely right. That game against Penn State went into 2 overtimes. Penn State at the time was not a good team.
We went into double overtime that game?
They were coming off of scholarship reductions. They didn't have talent across the O-line. Their offense, it wasn't quite there yet. And
they had a good,
we're in a game with them, but we were able to battle our way out.
They had a good left tackle that game, I think. Oh, one of their tackles was really good, I feel like.
Yeah. But I mean, overall, they didn't.
Overall, no, they wasn't a good. We shouldn't have never struggled with them.
You talk about Indiana. That game was dicey. I think they went into halftime
they were winning.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they were winning.
And I think Jalen Marshall had 5 touchdowns that game, something crazy. But we needed like a heroic performance like that. Minnesota was another one. It was just a weird game. They were actually a top 25 team, but we were playing. It was cold as hell. Coach Combs was still wearing a daggone T-shirt like there was nothing wrong.
He's a tough guy.
So
that game was impressive for him because it was freezing.
JT Barrett was outrunning everybody, which just shows you how cold it was because, you're slow.
Y'all gonna stop that, man.
It slows the fast guys down.
JT slow?
He's not as fast as a defensive back.
Well, you got something there. You got a point. I don't know. These last couple of combines, the DBs hadn't been really – they've been running some 4.6s and 4.7s.
That's a different conversation for a different day.
I don't know what's going on in the water.
And then the other thing you said, too, and I think Buckeye fans and people, college football historians should feel this one. You said that was our first loss at home.
Yeah.
We actually never lost in that 4-year span a true road game. Our only losses came in neutral sites or at home. So for anybody who was wondering about that, we were road warriors.
Yeah, we were. And you know what? The craziest thing was this. I think after we left college, I think Zeke never lost a road game until like a year or 2 ago.
Really?
I think even professionally, he was still like winning road games or something. It was something I had seen, and I was like, "That is." I think in high school he's never lost on the road. In college, for sure, he didn't lose. And I want to say maybe his first year in the league, he didn't lose the road. Something crazy. I was like, man, this man, he really
impressive, honestly. So I want to touch on this from that 2014 postseason. Obviously, the Wisconsin game was huge, 59-0. We needed that to get into the playoffs. We beat Alabama down there in the South. That was a huge win. And then
it was.
Powell,
yes, it was.
MVP. But the one play that sticks out in my mind is you taking the ball out of the end zone at the end of the game instead of just kneeling it down.
Yeah.
Bad football, Ty.
It's not bad football.
It is. It's bad football.
No, it's not. I'm going to tell you why. Because if you really want to watch, if we want to get technically, I thought that my original thought was to catch it and go down. That's really what I thought.
What you should have done.
No, some may say, okay, but then the two things came up. One, what nobody knows is Armani ran up on me and said, "Come on."
You definitely should have been listening to Armani.
He ran up on me and said, "Come on," like he gonna lead block. So in my mind, I'm like, well, then again, this is Alabama, You know what? We need that edge in life, Joshua. People need that edge. All these years, all we heard was about big bad Alabama. They're fast. They're big. They're just the greatest program in America. How don't you think Buckeye Nation wanted me to go ahead and just, rub it in their face a little bit?
Buckeye Nation wanted to win however they could take it, Tyvis.
Joshua, not only did he intercept the ball and secure the game, he took it to the house. I'd have made headlines.
But you didn't.
Man. I watched the clip over and over and just blame everybody on the team. The only person that was down for me was Armani and Eli. Eli
of all people
was trying to block for some.
I wasn't blocking. Game was over to me at that point. I didn't block.
That's the difference between being good and being great.
Okay.
The good ones, yes. Yeah, get the interception, get down. Yeah, it's over with. The great ones is take that extra step, You got to take that leap of faith sometimes, Josh. That's what the game is about. Taking risks sometimes. You got to roll the dice.
Okay. All right.
Get it to the house.
We're done with that. All right. So 2015, we roll around. We're supposed to be repeat champs. Now, meanwhile, we had ESPYs in the offseason. We had All-Star Weekend. People were out of town doing that. So we had a lot of on the locker room. And it's not to say that guys weren't fully invested, but we had some real celebrities.
Oh, for sure. They was living the dream in college, wasn't they? You know what, though? They deserved it, like a couple of them deserved it. Like Cardell did some very impressive things. Zeke was awesome that year. He was phenomenal. So like the people that got Braxton was already a celebrity before everything. So that he don't even count in this conversation. But the people that was getting like a lot of attention, they earned it, And at the time, I mean, it's not like they did anything wrong. Like they was just, people like that. Some people like the attention sometimes. You do this stuff sometimes. It's good to get a pat on the back every now and then. I prefer to get mine out the mud. I'm a slum. I stay humble and stay in the slum.
All right. So we had all that going on. Regardless, we were finding a way to win games, and then we get to what was senior night for me. Last game I ever played in the shoe against Michigan State. And we've got actually, me and you have a little bit of a difference in opinion on that game. I'm going to let you tell your side, and then I'm going to tell the real side.
Joshua, what happened during that game was it was raining, so the conditions was bad. It's not like either offenses were really good that game. I don't think our offense I think our offense made it score one touchdown because the other one technically came off of Terry forcing a fumble on the dude muffed the ball and Terry recovered it, so they just punched it right in. So, I mean, and we gave up 14 points. Now, like I say, I blame the defense. I blame us. I really do.
Why do you blame the defense, Ty?
Wait, how many years? After 5 years, I sat down and I watched it. Actually, matter of fact, it just came on like maybe 3 or 4 nights ago, it came on TV. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching it and I'm just like, it's our fault, man. Everybody want to blame the offense, and it's on us, man.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
Right.
because as you know, Coach Meyer did do a great job of always talking about the field position, the battle of the field. How the field, the percentages of scoring when it's on this on this yard line and whatnot. So so at the end of the game, towards the end of the game, it was 14-14, and we had pinned them down. We punted the ball and we pinned them inside. I want to say it was inside the 10. It was either inside the 10 or inside the 20. And it was either second down or third down. their first possession, and their running back, I think his name was L.J. Scott, maybe. Is that the running back?
I believe so.
Yeah, he broke one for like 15, 20 yards, and it gave him new life. And from that moment on, they just kept marching down the field. And if we would have just stopped them on that one run right there, we would have flipped. They would have punted us the ball. We'd have got it on, at worst, our own 40, and we would have. It would have been a different game. Our offense could have put something together to get 20, 30 yards for 54 for a nice field goal to win the game. Instead, we let that man break, and there it is, man. They kicked the game. We let them drive down the field. The game was in our hands. Was it not? We were the last one on the field.
But I'm going to push back, though. I'm going to push back. I'll say this from the perspective of that was probably the worst game I had played in my career. I was.
You know what? And the sad thing,
what
the sad thing is, it was like one of the best games.
Stop it. I was asked that game. I was terrible. So
yeah, I went in. You know how we get graded the next day? I think I graded so high actually.
Bro, it was just not.
Of course, to be the game we lose.
It was just not. So from that perspective, played a poor game. I think defensively, you're right. We didn't play the best that we could, and it wasn't so much what you said on that last drive. I think it was more so like Michigan State would have a 3rd and 3, and they would run the ball for 3.5 yards. They would just they would mush the pile forward. The running back would leak.
It wasn't we should have realized that nobody was they wasn't throwing the ball.
No.
And we should have just stuffed the box.
No.
I don't know. And then they had that quarterback nobody ever heard of, and he was a runner, and he was killing. He wasn't killing us, but he was getting the yards that they needed at the right time.
No,
and it was killing them.
That's exactly what happened. So I'll agree with you on that, but I'll pose the question to you and everybody who's listening.
I'm not going at the offense. No,
I'm not going at the offense either. But I'm just posing this question for you and anybody else who listens to the show: is if you can hold a team to 14 points in regulation, because we're going to take that last-second field goal out of there, should an Ohio State offense not be able to score more than 14 points? That's just a simple question that I'll pose. Because a 14 point performance is a very solid performance. Very solid.
You're omitting the fact that the weather conditions were terrible.
Right, but you're also not – we had the best running back in college football. So even if you can't throw the damn ball, you hand it to him. That's all I'm getting at. I don't want to open up any wounds. I don't want to do any of that. We'll let the listeners decide, Ty.
They could all week. They prepared a bunch of pass plays. They were really going to attack some. I don't even think their secondary was that good.
I'd have been running 12 and 13 cab all game.
Gosh.
That's it. 12 and 13 cab. That's it.
We play defense. All we can do is play defense. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we'll fast forward to the next week. We're getting ready to play that team up north. We got a pair of gold pants on the line. We're coming off of a loss. We're playing up at the Big House. They are ranked number 10. I believe we're ranked number 8 at the time. Jim Harbaugh's first year. And this was now the point where the media swirling, is it going to be the first time in Urban Meyer's tenure that they lose to Michigan? Can Jim Harbaugh pull off the big victory? Ohio State's coming into this game wounded and limping, all that. And then we go up there, ass beating like I had never seen before, 42-13 is the final score.
In the words that we slapped it inside out and outside in, upside down and around. So, but they always get hyped, and
They do.
I really don't know why. They haven't done a thing, and I really just I hate to say this, but I just got into an argument with one of their former players. And
you name dropping or not?
No, I'm not going to name drop. I'm not going to. But oh man, but it was just like because what happened was, okay, so I got to give the background of how we got into the argument. So what happened was, something had happened. As a matter of fact, it was the story about the kid, the corner from Seattle that got released for sneaking a girl in the hotel. So I had screenshotted it on my phone and sent it to this was in the Denver's Broncos chat. And the guy comes back and I said, excuse my picture. Don't look at my picture. Just read the story. And he gonna say, yeah, your daughter looked terrible. Your daughter, I feel bad for your daughter because she in that terrible helmet. Talking about the Old State helmet. And I'm like, see, there it is. He pushed my button and I see, there it is. I basically, ended his, I just destroyed him and told him that, it's sad that you went. I feel bad for the fact that you go to a university where you have to lose your last game every year. You probably never won against Ohio State. And you probably you go to bowl games, but you don't win them. So, like, I feel sorry for you. You basically wasted kind of 4 years of your life.
Wow.
Like, because you didn't, I mean, you got hyped up. Like, all they taught y'all was, like, let's get excited for something, but don't meet the expectations. Like, yeah, we're gonna gas you up and say that you're this, but like you're a failure. Like you failed to meet the requirements. And, at the end of the day, I feel sorry for you. I'm praying for you because you need to, like, you up your dog in my university, but you need to let that hurt go. You will move on in life and be a better person. Not even just football-wise, just a better person in life when you let that hurt from that a university did to you go. Like, so I'm praying for you.
We got Tyvis, the psychologist, up in here, the therapist.
And
let the hurt go.
And then I went on to send him a picture of my rings, and stick out. It kind of escalated from there.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess I'll leave that at that. We don't have to talk about that game at all. We can see how Tyvis Powell feels.
But we're gonna talk about it. But back to the game, because that was just a side story. But back to the game. Like I just said, they were hyped up like they did, and they just basically failed. They missed the dunk, man. They really missed the dunk. And I think, to our credit, we were pissed off. So, playing a pissed off Buckeye team, it's never gonna go good. I know that the world was hoping, well, not the world, but the state up north was hoping that, we were just going to throw the towel in. But that, we just wasn't raised and trained that way. I know maybe for them, that's probably what they do, but, in Ohio, we don't do those things. So anyways, so they played a pretty pissed off Buckeye team. And I always remember at the end of the game, the best part was me and Bob was over there talking trash to Jill. I forgot all about it.
What'd you say to him?
Bob was like, hold on, wait a minute. Where Jim at? They was talking all that trash. I'm like, we out there, look, in the middle, but right before play start, we looking at the sideline like, there you go. Hey, Jim, they gonna fire you for this one, bro.
What a shame.
Gas to kids, something like that. That boy got hit in the mouth.
Wow.
It was the truth, Josh.
It was.
Somebody needed to say it. Somebody needed to tell you. That's what's wrong with the world. We be sugarcoating things, and we need to just go back to how it was when we were kids. You just tell them the to God honest truth. You get straight to it. You don't sugarcoat it. It will make them a better person in life.
Tyvis, I don't disagree with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Joshua. You always see the bright side of things.
I do. I try to. Right. So let me hop on this real quick. I'm gonna ask you just 1-2 more questions about football, and then we'll dive into Tyvis Powell, the person.
Okay.
All right. So I need your number one favorite thing about being a Buckeye.
My favorite thing about being a Buckeye. My favorite thing about being a Buckeye is the fact that, well, not this year, but every Saturday during fall, I know I can turn that TV on and I just know that we gonna win that game. And it don't matter how far down we are or how bad we lose and what the condition or who it may be we going against. I just know we gonna find a way to win the game. And after I go a whole week of telling everybody about how we're going to win the game and Tyvis, it's not going to happen. Or my favorite is this one now. This because this has happened a couple of times since I've been in the league. They'll be playing and they'll be down, and I'll get those, hey, Tyvis, what's up with your boys? And I'm always like, we are a second half team. To our credit, we definitely are. And, final score come around and, I go find that same person and, how the tone of their voice changed. And, usually I'm a gloater. Like, I would gloat about it. But now I'm just so used to it. It's just like, just listen to me sometime. I know what I'm talking about. So to answer your question, it's winning, being from a winning program and knowing that we're going to win,
Tyvis likes being a winner. I do too. That's fantastic. And then you and I trained together actually before the draft.
Yes, we did.
Had a great time. It was unique because it was, we were doing 2-a-day sessions and we were really out in the world and we had a support system, but like this was our first taste of being professionals and really policing ourselves and doing all those things right.
Yes,
and then I was in Southern California. You were in Seattle. So now we're in 2 completely different places all the way across the country.
Yes.
And rookie year is a tough transition. It's a tough place to be. And then even as you continue on down the line, as you get into your vet years in the league, the NFL it's a ton of fun, but it's probably the most challenging work environment that isn't law enforcement, that isn't, being a firefighter, that isn't protecting this country. I would say it's hectic, it's violent, it's a business. So from all of your experience around the league, what's probably the biggest thing that you have learned?
The biggest thing that I've learned is, and it took me up until not last year, the year before last. No, last year actually. So that would be my year 4 in the league. Is that, and I heard it maybe a million times. And it never really, it was one of those things that you hear, but you like, get away from me with that. But it was to control what you could control.
Wow.
I know, right? It's a simple thing. And it's like people listen to me like, control what you could, I do that anyway. But no, it really gets to you because, you can't relate. I'm an undrafted free agent. So you have to, from the life of an undrafted player is that sometimes, no matter how good you are, or, okay, for example, I do everything right. It's nothing that I never did wrong where I actually, in my eyes, gave a team a reason to release me, It's always been somebody got hurt and we need that position. So, you're the last guy in or whatever it may be. So we're going to release you because we need somebody to fill that position. And it's I don't know, you can't, it's something that you truly can't control. I can't control that another position gets hurt and I'm the last and I'm the guy that gets released. And all I can control is that I can come in with a great attitude and do what is required of me and do it to the best of my ability. And, it took me up until last year to really figure that out. It affected me mentally. Football stopped becoming fun to me. I started looking at it as a job. Oh my God. I start worrying about things okay, will I make it to Tuesday? Because, you got to make it to that Tuesday, 4 p.m. deadline. Those who don't know, Tuesday, 4 p.m. deadline, Eastern Standard Time.
Guaranteed check.
If you make it to that time, you're good for the week. Your money, your salary is good for the week. So as an undrafted player, you watching the clock. Oh, you just watching. You literally counting the minutes down. So anyways, so it got to where I would be focused on that, and I'd be like, man, I didn't do good this week in practice. Am I gonna make it next week? Then I have my girlfriend out there, and I have my dog out there. And it's man, I gotta is we gonna make it to next week, or do we have to pack up and move back across the world? And it was a lot of stuff, and it mentally stressed me out to where it started affecting my performance. And then I started getting the attitude. My last year in San Fran, I had an attitude when I came up there. I went from this happy, person that everybody was happy to see. We always joked around, to this person that came in with a hood on, tied tight, so you couldn't see my face. And I just was simply quiet. I didn't say anything to anybody.
That
And
is,
of course, yeah, it was.
That's really interesting to hear out of you, though.
I know, because I'm
For
like
people that are familiar with Tyvis from, you know, people who have seen clips of him in media or just know him personally like I do. Tyvis Powell is one of the most energetic, most upbeat, jovial people I know, who is glad to face a challenge.
Absolutely.
Wake up and face a challenge. And so to hear, and that's what I was talking about with the NFL being a place that is just so ruthless, because it stole a little bit of my soul away from me too. When I was playing, I was a different guy. And I'm a very I'm a high performance habit type of guy. But when I was in the league, that performance habits and trying to make sure I did everything right gripped me so much that I was anxious all the time, and I was a very tight person. And so to hear that it had a profound effect on you is crazy. But the advice to control what you can control, folks, is huge. And I talk about that with my fiance all the time. And Tyvis, you know this, but Madison gets pissed off about something and she's ready to burn the whole world down, scorched earth.
Oh my God. Oh Lord.
For real.
It's like the devil, it's like the boogeyman himself is about to come out when she get mad.
But I try to tell her, though, there are certain things that, and obviously it affects you, like you feel it emotionally, but there are certain things that I feel like need to take up more emotional space than others. And the things that we should allow to take up our emotional space are things that we can control. If you're allowing your emotions to become wrapped up in space to be taken up in your mind and in your heart and in your soul by things that you cannot influence the outcome on, then you're going to be messed up. You're literally going to be messed up. So that's
because it's nothing you can do. Like it's you truly can't do nothing good or anything better or anything worse to change something. It's what it is. Like and that's what it is in the NFL. You're not one of those first to third round picks, man. Life is you literally have to fight every day, and sometimes it's just not. It's nothing you did or you didn't do. It's what it is.
No, I'm with you on that. So
finally get past that. Like I say, in San Fran, and for me, like you say, it was so noticeable. Like everybody was like, "What's wrong?" To the point where it was like all the coaches just knew. Like, so my coach was Jeff Halfley, who was the D coordinator at Ohio State. He was my position coach when I was in my last year in San Fran. He knows, he'll testify to this, that my last, I played the Oakland Raiders game, that Thursday night game, and then the next week they released me. And I knew going into that next week, after I played that game, like I played a great game, by the way. Did everything right, didn't mess up, nothing. And I knew going into that next week, I knew that they were going to release me. And he was like, well, Tyvis, I don't know why you feel that way. He said, they haven't told me anything like that. He said, I'll find out for you, but I don't think, like, you need to get a better attitude because, like, you up here saying that's not true. Nobody ever said anything about releasing you. I said, all right. I said, all right, watch this. So we go into the week. We finish the week. And it's always the day before the game. It's the day that they're going to release you. So they'll let you make it past the 2 p.m. the 4 p.m. deadline. And so you can get paid that week, and then they'll release you the day before the game because they need the roster spot. Or that's the last day they can make roster changes. And we was playing a Monday night game, so it was a Sunday. And I all week now, I've been saying it to all the DBs all week. I'm like, I'm telling y'all right now, Sunday come around, they're going to release me on Sunday. I'm telling you. Everybody like, all right, watch. So we get in there Sunday. I tell Lauren, well, Lauren, this gonna be the day. Walk out the door. Like, all right, this. so get ready. Just get ready. We ready to pack the stuff up, because I'm telling you. Sunday comes around, I leave the house, I walk into the facility. We have meetings and walkthrough. So we do the meetings. It's okay. All right, get through meetings. All right, and my phone ain't went off yet. All right, bet. Everybody like, we walking into the locker room to go to walkthrough. Now I'm walking in with the DB. We just got our meetings, I'm walking in. And I say, and we get to the door. We got to like punch your little digits in to get in the locker room. And so enough, as soon as we walking in, the
Grim
Turk
Reaper
walking out. The Turk walking out. Tyvis, I need to see you. I said, didn't I tell y'all? I said, didn't I tell y'all? But at this point, in my mind, I'm already prepared, so I'm not mad about it. I'm laughing because, like, I tried to tell y'all all week, this is my dad. Like, I was like, man, hey, bro, I've been waiting on you all week. I know you already.
That's a damn shame.
That's exactly what I said. I wait on you all week. I know you coming to see me. Yeah, Tyvis, we need to see you upstairs. Sure enough, they released me. I knew it. So I spent that whole off season, like I did every off season, training. What was my weaknesses? Training to be better, and it just finally came to me like, you know what, Tyvis, you've been blessed to play this game. You're doing something that you love. It's not like you work in a factory job or something that you hate. You actually are getting the opportunity to play. And you know what? If they give you an opportunity to play this game, we're going to play it with a smile on our face, with joy in our heart, and we're going to play it for that 9-year-old kid that still lives inside of you, where you running around as a kid and saying that you was going to make it to the NFL. So that's why I do it now. I do it for that 9-year-old kid that's still inside of me, that still wants to be great. So that's why I play with a smile on my face. So whatever it is, it is what it is. I ain't got no attitude with it no more.
That's fantastic. I appreciate you sharing that, honestly.
I'm an open book.
You are an open book, which I really appreciate about you. All right, I'm going to ask you some questions about the personal life, and then I'm going to get you up out of here, all right?
Let's do this.
So, you're a new father.
I am.
Layliana
Marie.
So, what's your favorite thing so far about fatherhood?
You know what? This is going to sound very corny and very movie scripted, but, we're going through this, this pandemic right now, and things in the world is not great, but I don't know. It's just like when I hold Layliana in my arms and she looks up at me and gives me that little smile that she does, it's truly like nothing in the world matters anymore. It's like nothing, no pain is there. Nothing stresses me out. It's just like, that's all that matters in that moment. Like everything is better in that moment. So that's kind of what it's been about. It's basically living not for you, it's living for her and trying to make sure that watching her develop more. She's more alert now. She's eating a ton. And we try to get her to sleep through the night. So, it's new challenges that we facing, but, we're enjoying it because we're seeing that, she loves us and she cares for us. And it's dope. I like it.
That's really special. Is there anything specifically you're looking forward to as a father as she starts to get older? Like, is there one thing that you're like, you kind of got your eyes on down the line?
Yes.
What is it?
Yes, I do. And I'm going to tell you what it is. So I'm an athletic person, and Lauren is a very athletic person, okay? So I clown about this all the time with her. So the day that I'm looking forward to is when we pray that Layliana decides to play sports, basketball in particular, because Lauren was very good at basketball. And whether she decides to play it like for real or not, that's not what matters. What matters is that one day she's going to get old enough and she's going to say,
"Oh, come on, Ty."
I say, "Mom, I could probably beat you in basketball."
Oh, God.
And okay, so I'm a very competitive person, but Lauren is just as competitive as me. So the day that she says that, Lauren is literally going to turn into Michael Jordan and go out there and try to destroy her. And I have to be there to watch this go down because I know it's not going to be good. I know something. What, Lauren would be what? We'd be in our 40s at the time. And Lauren's going to go out there and think she's like 18, 19 years old. And if Layliana beats her, oh my God. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, the day that she decides to challenge Lauren in sports and to see how Lauren takes it. Because, for me, if she ever asks me, I'm going to beat her 50-0.
Yes.
For Lauren might have a little softer side to her. So That's what I'm looking for.
Got a side story on that. My father, obviously, great guy. He is a lot older than I am. Like he became a father at a later stage than a lot of guys do. So he used to like play ball with us and everything. But he was very, very smart because he got to a point where he saw me developing as an athlete. And so he stopped playing hoops against me when he felt like it was getting to that point where he wouldn't be able to beat me anymore. So I've never actually beaten my father in a game of basketball.
That's sad.
He's a smart man.
Hey, that is very smart. But if I have a son, one day I have a son, I don't care, Joshua, if I'm 60 years old. If he asks me to do one-on-ones, he's not going to catch a ball. I don't care what he said. He will not catch that ball.
He's going to dog your ass.
No, he won't.
I promise. If you're 60?
Listen, in a high school kid's mind, they're going to think, I'm faster than him and he can't move that well. Well, what we know growing up is when you play the football, it's all about technique. As long as your technique is right, you'll win about 85% of the time. And my technique will be flawless.
I'm going to tell him to put his hands on you right off the line of scrimmage. Just to catch you off guard like that. 6-year-old man you can't handle a physical release at 60 years old.
Are you kidding me, Joshua?
You're tripping.
That's the thing. You got to bring the fight to him first. You can't you got to get over on the kid first. You can't let them get you. All right, we're going to see. Watch. Everybody that's watching this, we got, 34 years from now. When a kid challenged me, we're going straight to YouTube. If YouTube is still around, it'll probably be virtual. It would be right there in your living room watching it. And y'all gonna watch me shut the kid down. Y'all gonna be like, you know what? He's so steady. Just telling you, Josh. I'm not letting no kid beat me. You remember what we did to them kids on the cruise on the basketball?
Yeah.
I'm not letting no kid beat me.
Yeah, that was pretty fun too. All right, so I'm gonna get you out of here on this. It's a 2-minute drill is what I'm gonna call it.
Okay.
I'm gonna rapid fire some questions at you. I don't want you to think about the response. I just want you to respond to them.
Okay, I'm pretty good in 2 minutes. I'm quick on my feet.
It's not gonna take no 2 minutes. I'm just calling it the 2-minute drill because
I understand what we're getting at though. It's fast, everything
rapid
quick.
Fire.
Come on, let's do this.
You ready? Okay, dream vacation.
Vegas.
All right. Surf or turf?
Turf.
Okay. If you could go back in time and change one thing about your life, what would it be?
Absolutely nothing.
I knew you would say that. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Teleport.
Oh, gosh. Best player you've ever played against?
Joey Boat. He was on my team. Against?
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley.
Okay, that's a good answer. What's your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve. My biggest pet peeve? I got a lot of them, but my biggest one is a very parental answer. When you tell somebody something and they don't believe you.
Man.
And they go out there and then they come back and act like this the one where they act like you never said it to them. They be like, really? Like that's the one, really. When you try to tell somebody something, they don't listen, and they come back or somebody else tell them the same thing you said, and it sound for them it's just like the greatest thing they ever heard. That's one.
My biggest pet peeve is when people tell me I'm wrong when I'm right. I can't stand it. All right.
Well, that opens up a whole debate for me.
Finally, who stars as Tyvis Powell in the movie about your life?
Denzel Washington.
All right, you're tripping. All right. You're tripping. Folks, here we have it. Tyvis Powell.
I would have to say my twin, Denzel Washington. We identical twin.
You're just wrong.
I'm just saying, Joshua. It's better than Will Smith.
I look a little bit like him.
More like Michael Strahan, but go ahead.
All right. Well, Tyvis, I appreciate you coming on the Joshua Perry Show. It was a really, really good interview. Definitely got some gems out of there in terms of quotes. Got to hear a little bit about the life of Tyvis, get some of that personality. Really appreciate you, man. Hope we can have you back on.
Absolutely. Anytime you need me, Josh, you know I'm only one. I'm only one call away. I'll be there to... All right, that's my little Charlie Poof moment. Go ahead.
All right, y'all.
Josh.